Happy Thursday, everyone. We got a fun one coming at you, a little 2-round triplet. It's gonna be a good time. Before we get to that though, let's talk about the warm-up. The warm-up consists of a little bit of core work. We're gonna work on some plank leans in all 3 directions for 3 to 5 reps. Forearm plank to dolphin for 3 to 5. Into our arch up for 20 seconds, alternating. Into our tuck hollow with extension for 20 seconds of just nice, smooth, steady extension for those hamstrings. And then arch up for 20 seconds, alternating back and forth. And then finishing off again with that humeral glide to knee push-up for 3 to 5, just to wake up those arms, get that push-up skill in there, and keep building on those push-ups. 2 to 3 rounds here. Take it down, have some fun with it, get yourself ready, and then we're going to move down to the bottom piece. But we're going to practice the burpee a little bit today in a different manner. So it's a skill set. We're going to do a squat thrust with lower to knee push-up. And I'll explain what that's all about. I'll show you what's going down, just some things to think about, play with. But if you don't want to do the burpee in the workout, that's fine. You can do the squat thrust. But we're going to work on building the movement in a controlled manner when you're not fatigued, so you can practice and work on building perhaps maybe towards that burpee. After that, we have our dumbbell standing lunge for 3 aside, or just standing lunge, depending on what you need to do to warm up. Into our sumo deadlift high pull for 3 aside with the dumbbell, and then our curtsey lunge for 6 alternating. For 3 to 5 rounds, we'll take that through, getting you ready for the work set to come. Our work set is going to fire off, and we're going to work on 2 rounds. A dumbbell sumo deadlift high pull for 35 to 50 reps in total, alternating every 5 reps. So do 5 on one side, 5, 5, 5, 5, until you have finished the desired amount of reps that you're going to take down. You'll then move into 40 burpees or squat thrusts, and finish off with 30 alternating goblet lunges. So we'll talk about that as we go, but it's going to be a good time. 2-round triplet, we'll have some fun, and we'll get you ready. Alright, you guys, let's get those feet under those hips. We'll take the arms big and tall. Big reach to one side. Oh yeah, big reach to the other side. Come back up, we're going to scratch our back and then reach through the elbow. And come back up, overhead, big stretch. Scratch your back again, big reach with the elbow. Think lengthening through that side. Good, big stretch. And then we're going to forward fold. Touch those toes. Walk up the shins. We'll come down, frame a foot. Step that foot back into that nice lizard. Planting that hand, the outside hand's going to reach forward. We're going to circle back. We're going to come back through, reach forward, circle back. And again, reach forward and circle back. We're going to plant the hand, step back into our down dog just briefly, just to feel that position. Come back into our plank, step the other foot up. Squaring it up, inside hand down. Outside hand's going to reach and circle back. And then reach, circle back, and then reach and circle back. We'll plant that hand, we'll get set, step back into our down dog, reaching those hips, nice and set. We'll come back into our plank, nice and tight. We'll tiptoe, walk those feet up, and then we're going to roll ourselves all the way up, big stretch. Reach to one side, come back through, reach to the other side. Oh, come back through, hands come down. Good. All right, you guys, we're gonna get you guys fired up. If you'd like though, pause the video, take down a little bit more gentle warm up if you'd like to work some rotations, maybe some hip work in there with those lizards. Be my guest. I'm gonna get you moving in that first phase, which is gonna primarily focus on the upper body and the core. So we'll take it down nice and steady and get you moving. Our first exercise is going to be the plank lean. So I'm going to show you the first one from the side, and then I'll go from the front. But what we want to think about is working all 3 directions. So I get tight through my plank. So my hands are under my shoulders. I tuck my ribs and hips. I press through the shoulders. And I'm going to initiate through the upper body as I lean to the left. I come back to the center and I lean to the right. I come back through, really hunkering down on those ribs and hips. I'm going to pull forward, keeping my hips and my shoulders both the same level, and then as I pull back. So you just want to make sure that we're not sagging down as we pull forward. Very common, very common. So make sure when you get to the middle, we just re-engage that core, set those shoulders good and strong. Again from the front, so you can see the 2 leans to the side. So I get tight again, hands under the shoulders, ribs and hips are solid, shoulders press up. I lean to the left, initiating through the upper body. Come back through, lean to the right. Come back. back to center, re-engage if I need to, pull forward, and then press back into that nice center position to continue moving through that work set. So take your time there, you guys. If you need to reset in between reps, please do so. Take a knee, reassess your core position, take it down. Very important we keep those shoulders and core active as we lean. Our next exercise is our forearm plank to dolphin. So we're just gonna hold this forearm plank briefly. My elbow is gonna go underneath my shoulder. My forearms are gonna press down into the ground. I'm gonna step back into my plank. I pull my ribs and hips together, I press through the shoulders, and then from here, I'm gonna pull my hips back. I might need to walk my feet in a bit, and I pull my hips back like a down dog. So my hips are nice and high, my knees are soft, my ankles are soft, and I press those arms back, and then I come back into my plank, stepping my feet back into that position. If I don't need to move my feet, that's fine, but I might have to walk my feet in a bit to get to this position, and that's legit, that's okay. The big thing here, even though we're on our forearms, I want you to think about our plank to down dog and our focus that we do through our shoulders. It's the same thing, except I'm on my forearms, but it's the same engagement through my lats, through my pecs, all through that stuff to stabilize. I want to feel them as I pull back into that dolphin position. All right, so same concept as the down dog, just on our forearms, so you may feel a little bit differently through your triceps and through your upper back. Our next exercise takes us to the floor, which is our arch up. So we're going to work a dynamic single arm arch up. So I get set up like I'm going to do a double, and I inhale, reach, right hand, left foot, exhale, inhale with the other side, left hand, right foot. And I'm just going to inhale, exhale, up and down, back and forth for 20 seconds. Working on that lengthening, working on keeping this leg straight as I extend and just nice and smooth. No need to rush that. Think about lengthening and reaching with every breath. Our next exercise takes us to our back. So I'm going to roll over. I'm going to breathe long and tall. I'm going to pull my ribs, my hips together as I pull my knees and my shoulders together, keeping that nice tuck hollow position. I'm then going to extend my legs straight and then pull my heels to my glutes and then maintain that compression as I pull and come back down, and I maintain that compression the entire time. So I'm working on pulling my ribs together, shoulders and knees together the whole time as I'm extending those hamstrings to get that full extension. Hard to do. Try your best, work on that extension point, and really, really, really keep that compression. It's hard, it burns, but you got 20 seconds to move smooth. The next exercise again is back on your stomach for the arch up. So you're gonna do the same style of arch up we just showed, alternating back and forth for 20 seconds. And then you're gonna come back into our humeral glide position. So from here, we bring our hands into our chest. So my wrist is stacked under my elbow. I'm going to pull my shoulders forward, and then I'm going to pull them back. And I'm going to pull my ribs and hips together with a tight glute. I'm going to press to the knees, keeping everything nice and tight. From here, staying down with the shoulders and active through my midsection, I'm going to come forward and down, keeping those elbows at that 45 degree, keeping that shoulder happy, and keeping it back. Then I'm going to disengage. I'm going to do it all over here. So I pull the shoulder forward to where I don't want it. I pull it and set it back to where I do. My ribs and hips pull in. I press to my knees, so I maintain that position, holding that tight body. And then I come forward and down, so I finish in the same starting position that I had. So we want to lower down to our tripod, so finger, chin, hand, making a little triangle, and making sure that that elbow stays stacked over top of the wrist the entire time. We have 3 to 5 reps of that, just working through for some skill, nice, gentle kind of warm-up with some good heat of that internal fire sort. So take your time with that, feel that heat, feel that good stuff, and enjoy. Quick little recap for you guys. We have our plank lean, all 3 directions for 3 to 5 reps, reassessing your core and shoulder position on each rep, making sure it's solid. Forearm plank to dolphin, 3 to 5 reps. If you have to walk your feet in as you go to dolphin, please do so. Arch up for 20 seconds, alternating back and forth. Tuck hollow with extension for 20 seconds, just nice and steady, not rushing. Probably only going to get 4 to 5 reps in there, and that's okay. Into our arch up again, same idea, alternating back and forth. And our humeral glide to knee push up for 3 to 5 reps, working on priming up that good form for our push up and our burpee later on. 2 to 3 rounds, take that down you guys, pause the video, rock it if you need to rewind it and get some kind of coaching cues, please do so. I'm going to jump forward into our next phase, which is going to jump right into our burpee skill work. So what we're going to start off with is our squat thrust with lower to knee push-up. So we're kind of breaking up the push-up a little bit, or the burpee a little bit, so you can work on it for skill. So as is, I'm just going to show you a burpee first, and then come back into our drill. So the burpee that we want to play with is hands coming down, jumping our feet back, lowering, and then popping back up. So it's a very much so a dynamic push-up. What this squat thrust to lower gives us a chance to do is work on a few skills. So I'm going to show you multiple ways to do it. I can jump my feet back, and this is kind of the base level. I jump back, I maintain position, and then I either lower through my toes or my knees, and then I press and jump and stand back up tall. I can also do this. I come back, I jump my feet back, I lower, press and jump, and come tall. Or our next phase is if we're pretty consistent with hitting that plank and maintaining tension, as I jump my feet back or step my feet back, I can start the lowering process already. So I'm going to show you a step and a jump. So basically what I do, I bring my hands down, I jump and lower, I take a moment to get tight, push, and jump. Nice and tall. If I'm not quite comfortable with the jump, what I'm going to do, hands down, I'll step, and then as I step my second foot back, I'll lower down to the floor, I'll get set, assess my position for my push, push well, jump my feet in from that knee position. Alright? So we have a couple different ways to play with this. Now you're probably saying to yourself, but Dave, that looks like a burpee. It is, but we're breaking it down into 2 pieces, the lower and the push, so that we can really take the time to work on making sure that our positioning is right, we're good to go in the bottom, and just make sure everything is in a solid position that we just practice in our humeral glide to knee push-up. So I'll show you again with the jump lower. My hands come down, I jump lower, I assess my situation, I might pull my ribs in, press to my knees, and then from here, I jump, and I stand tall. So breaking it down into a couple pieces, 2 to 3 pieces like I just did, you can have some fun with that and work on the burpee as a skill and not worry about doing them when you're super fatigued. From that, we're going to move into our dumbbell standing lunge or our standing lunge drill. So I'm going to stand in my squat stance. I'm going to step forward, step back. So I have about 50-50 weight between my feet, and I'm nice and balanced and upright. What I'm going to do next, keeping my hip square to the front, I'm going to lower down to the floor, and then I'm going to stand tall. I'm going to work on that good smooth motion. Something to keep in mind too when we do this is working on engaging my glutes before I lower down and stand up. So I squeeze my bum, help stabilize the knee and the hip. I lower down so that knee is over the heel, back knee is under the hip, and I stand up tall. I find these more challenging than lunges per se because it's much harder to control the depth when you're standing in one position. So it's a great opportunity to work on building strength for a dynamic lunge. Right? If you're going to load that, dumbbell under the chin like a goblet, like we're doing in the workout, is a great option. So we do 3 per side, remembering to squeeze our glutes and working on those positions that we'll be doing dynamically in our workout. From there, we move into our sumo deadlift high pull. So it's a great opportunity to practice that dynamic kind of pull that we use in the snatch and the clean. So I'm going to stand right over top of my dumbbell. I'm going to get set. I pull back and down into my good deadlift back position. I'm going to stand all the way through my deadlift, but I'm going to let the momentum carry. So I stand up, and I come back down. So I let the momentum carry the dumbbell, I continue the momentum, and then I just bring it back down. We aren't standing here holding the dumbbell for a long period of time. We're just feeling it and then coming down with control. So again, from the front, I get set, stand, pull, and then I come back down. From the side, just so you can see my back position, it's no different than any other deadlift position. So my back is nice and straight. My hips are a little lower for this because I have to get deeper for the dumbbell. And I'm going to stand through the legs and pull, then come back down, and then move into the next rep. So we want to make sure that that arm is coming back and up and just to the sternum, not in front of the face. The legs do the work, the arm helps and guides the dumbbell. Last but not least, what we have is our Curtsey Lunge. So I'm going to stand facing you guys so you can see in terms of our movement. I'm going to step back and on an angle, so there's some space between my legs, and then I lower down into this nice little lunge position. I stand tall and step. And then I alternate, stepping back on an angle, I lower, and I step. So I'm going to turn to the side and show you again for 2. I step back, lower and stand, step back on an angle, lower and stand. So now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a Curtsey Lunge and I'm going to rotate into a normal lunge position. So I step back, lower, and if I was to pause here and just turn my body, you'll notice that my knee is over my heel, my back knee is under my hip, under my shoulder, just like our regular lunge. So our positioning may be slightly different that I'm on an angle, but my knee position and my back knee position end up in the same stacked position as I would if I was just doing a regular forward and backward lunge. So keep that in mind. Play with that a little bit, have some fun with it, take them slow. It's just a nice, different way to work on that hip and leg motion and changes the lunge a bit. So we have 6 total count in that work set, unloaded, just working on changing it up to warm up those legs. Quick recap, we have a squat thrust with lower to knee push-up, so breaking down the burpee into its individual pieces for 3 reps. Dumbbell standing lunge or just standing lunge for 3 per side. Dumbbell sumo deadlift high pull for 3 a side. And then the Curtsey Lunge for 6 alternating for 3 to 5 rounds to get yourself fired up and ready for the workout. Pause the video, play with those skills, work on that, get those movements nice and strong. We're going to move into our work set right away, which is going to be kind of a burner. So what we have is 2 rounds, dumbbell sumo deadlift high pull, 35 to 50 reps. You're going to alternate every 5 reps, switching sides. And you can do that pretty seamlessly as you work through this motion. So if I was going to say this is my 5th, 5, come down, switch hands, 6, and 7. We'll say this is 10, come down, switch in front of the hip, and work that back and forth. So you can transition pretty seamlessly with that dumbbell as we move through that work set. The key is to try and find a rhythm that you can just keep moving steady. Don't try and rush them. Just get into a nice, comfortable rhythm that allows you to go the distance or take these down in 2 sets. From there, we have 40 burpees. So we just broke down the burpee in the work set with that squat thrust to lower drill, but I'm going to show you the different burpees and squat thrusts that we can play with. My hands come down, I jump and lower, jump in, and stand tall. I can also step back and lower, press and step up, or any combo of those 2. From there, we can do the squat thrust. So if you don't quite have or are comfortable with the lower just yet in the workout, you can work the squat thrust, which we can hands down, jump into our plank, jump in. We can jump back, step in. We can step back, jump in, and we can step back, step in. So the 2 things that we want to think about for both of those movements, for the full burpee, it's that stacked elbow, tight core, just like our humeral glide. For the squat thrust, it's straight locked out arms, tight core, tight hips, so we're hitting that strong plank. Regardless of the variation of either one you do, those key points are in all of them. So practice, play, and take them down well. If you need to, if you feel those pieces kind of falling apart, just rest for a few seconds, go, okay, Okay, I'm good. Just take a few moments, take the rest of them down. All right, bite-sized chunks always wins the day. Our last exercise is our Goblet Lunge, and we've worked on multiple different lunges in our warm-up today, but the workout is going to consist of holding the dumbbell or no load depending on your comfort level, but holding the dumbbell under the chin, either lunging forward or lunging backwards, whatever allows you to get in a better position for your lunge. Trying to watch out for that knee so you're not pounding it off the ground, keeping good control, and only going as deep as you feel comfortable. Right? Control that lunge, control that body position, especially if you have load. We want to make sure we're staying as upright as we can in our torso and avoiding that lean position, staying nice and tall as we lunge back. Quick recap, we have 2 rounds, 35 to 50 sumo deadlift high pulls, alternating every 5, 40 burpees or squat thrusts, 30 alternating total count goblet lunges, repeat twice, call it a day. All right, it's gonna be a good time. Remember, you guys, work for quality, have fun with this one, take it hard, but always take those moments to break if you feel your movement kind of having some issues. So enjoy, we'll talk to you super soon, you guys. We're almost at the end of the week. We got a cool little work set coming your way tomorrow as well. So have a great day, talk to you soon.